Hey guys, Jeffries here, and welcome to the season review of season 2014-15. Yes, 2014-15. This is episode 83 of You Don't Win Anything with Kids. And as you remember from the last episode, we won the league. Get in. We beat Chester 3-0, I think it was, or 4-0. 4-0 on the day. Grimsby beat Kidderminster 4-1, and that is the reason why we won the league. Kidderminster then went into the playoffs, obviously, because they finished second. Forest Green finished third, so they were also in the playoffs. Because they were on second and third, they were in opposite sides of the playoff draw. Kidderminster played Luton, I think, and I can't remember who Forest Green played. They both won their semi-finals anyway, so they were in the final together. And if I scroll down to here, Kidderminster lost 3-2 to Forest Green, which is a shame, really. And I said about it in the last episode about Kidderminster could end up being demoralised for losing the league when it was out of their hands as well. And because of that, I think they lost confidence and ended up losing the final, even though they reached the final. Things to do now. Going to have a look at stats. This is what this is. It's a season review. So let's start with the league table. As you can see there, we won 93 points compared to Kidderminster's 90 and Forest Green's 87. There you go. Our name is on the trophy now. None of these stats really mean anything until you get to this one. Fernando Quintaka got most clean sheets. I got an achievement for this through Steam. We conceded the least amount of goals throughout the season for all 24 teams. So I got a nice little achievement for that. Now, let's go and have a look at our stats, if I remember how to do it. It's that, and then it's... what is it? Bear with me 1 second, guys. I should know this, really. Shouldn't I? I think it's back in here, actually. Senior squad. Where the bloody hell is it? Overview? No. 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 Let's start with this. So, most used formation is the 4-2-3-1. We used it for basically every game we played. 92 goals scored in 4,502 minutes, which isn't too bad. Our most successful formation is a 4-4-2. We scored 3 goals in 50 minutes with a 4-4-2. That tends to be used at the end of games where I bring on another striker and just to try and see the game out, basically. That's the reason why that was employed. Most vulnerable to facing a 4-4-2. Conceded 26 goals in 1,798 minutes. Time most goals scored was between the 31st and 45th minutes. So, in the last 14 minutes before half-time, basically, we scored 21 of our 96 goals, which is about 21%. It's rounded it up to the nearest number there, I think. Most goals conceded was between the 46th and 60th minutes, so just after half-time. We conceded 15 out of 66 goals, which is 22%. Again, I'm sure that's rounded to the nearest number. Most common assist type was a pass, 49 out of 80 assists, which is 61%, rounded to the nearest number. Most common assist type for goals conceded was also through a pass, 37 out of 59 assists, which is 62% to the nearest number. Most common assist area was the left wing, 28 out of 80 assists, 35% of our goals came from the left-hand side. Beckhold, Lawrence, maybe Johnston, Jones as well. And it goes to show that the players who have shone for us most this season have been playing down that side. So it all makes sense when you look at it like that. Most common assists against us is also on the left wing. So players like Via and Klotmus and Robinson, Mutandari, Stevens played there for 2 matches, I think. Hutchinson, they all need to step up their game next season because our right-hand side is our weakest link. 20 out of 59 assists, which is 33% to the nearest number. Best attribute is our strength. We're ranked first in the league with our strength. Worst attribute is height. We're ranked 10th in the league, but that's not a big issue. Average age 20. That's pretty good average age. It'll be 21 next year, I think. Everyone being a year older. Highest average rating, Peter Wilson, 7.17. That's not a massive number, really. That could be probably high 7s, low 8s. That's the ideal place to be. Top goal scorer, Lars Beckhold with 14 goals. That's in all competitions. Peter Wilson got the most goals in the league with 13. Most assists is also Peter Wilson with 11. That's pretty impressive. Pitch details. Don't really care about them, do we? Attendance. Don't really care about them. Highest attendance was 7,505. I think that was still whilst we were at White Hart Lane, so that's not important. Philosophies. We just got signed high-profile players. We know that. Squad depth. Do we need to know that? Again, not really. Not really. That's pretty substandard. Goals. Well, do we need to go through these? I went through them last season, and again, I'm not even sure they're that important. Total scored 96, total conceded 66. Most scored in this period of time. But let's do goal types. That'd be more interesting. Place shot. Scored 68 of our 96 goals from placed shots. Conceded 48. Interestingly, only 13 headers, only 1 lob, 2 free kicks, 6 penalties, and only 6 powerful shots. So, what does that tell you? Goal assists. Yep, passes. Only 18 from crosses, 7 from corners, 1 from a long ball, and 5 from opposition mistakes. So, again, not that many. Facts and stats. Do we need to know these? No, I don't think we do, really. No, I don't think we do. Stats, maybe? Yeah, okay, let's have a look at stats. Okay, goals. Goals to shots. Best ratio is... Well, actually, no, let's start from the top. 93 goals from 748 shots. That needs improving. Either less shots, so that we know they're going to be on target, or more shots on target, which lead to goals. The best record was Hogan. He scored 4 goals from 11 shots. Worst record was Bobo. He only scored 1 goal from 54 attempts, which is not very good at all. Especially for a player of his caliber, he needs to improve. Shots on target and attempted. Shots on target, 285 out of 748. So we scored 93 goals out of 285 shots on target. And that's a really, really poor stat. Best for that was Marshall. He got 11 on target out of 17 shots in total. Worst was Stevens. He got no shots on target out of 7. But again, 7 shots from a defender throughout the season. Not too bad. Penalties scored taken. We scored all 6 penalties that we took this season. 4 players scored 1 in 1. So I don't know who scored the 5th and the 6th. That doesn't really add up. Minutes since last goal. 4 minutes since Drewson's last goal. 3,055 since Cartwright's last goal. But again, that's not too much of an issue. Passes. We completed 15,883 passes out of 21,325 attempted. Which, that's not bad, actually. Only 6,000 passes went amiss. In fact, it was like 5,500 and something? Something like that, give or take. Best for that was Hutchinson, 92 out of 102 success. The worst was Daly, 40 out of 63. And actually, if he's the worst, 40 out of 63, only 23 misplaced passes throughout all of his appearances. Maybe you could argue that he didn't have that many appearances for us, but the worst is 23 out of a 46 game season. That's not bad at all. Tackles won attempted. We won 1,233 tackles out of 1,534 attempted. Best for that was Johnston. He won 11 out of 12 tackles attempted. Worst is Wilson. He only won 2 out of 5. So this comes down to ratios, because I'm sure Cartwright has lost more tackles than Wilson, but he's attempted more as well. So ratios, it balances out. Headers won 2,207 to 3,555. Best for it was Klopmas, 84 out of 101. That's pretty impressive, considering he hardly played as well. Worst is Ball with 4 out of 15. That's not so good. Crosses succeeded, 215 out of 1,331. That's not very good. Best for it was Douglas Pringle, 3 out of 11. Worst was Grant, 2 out of 27. That's really poor. Really, really poor. Red cards compared to games played. 10 red cards out of 49 games played. Cartwright with the best record. No red cards in his 38 appearances. McConnell is the worst. 2 red cards out of his 17 appearances. I think Grant got sent off a couple of times as well, so he must have played more matches. Yellow cards, not that bothered about. Fouls, again, not that bothered. Mistakes. Stevens made no mistakes out of 82 total. Oh no, sorry. Let me start that again. Mistakes leading to goals out of total mistakes. So only 18 of our mistakes led to goals out of 1,303 mistakes made. Stevens, no mistakes that led to goals out of 82 mistakes. The worst, and I'll say this is quite unfortunate really, Chorley, he made 11 mistakes, one of which cost us a goal. So that's not too bad. Clean sheets to games played. 19 clean sheets out of 49 games. That's impressive. That is impressive. Best for it was Quintana, 14 clean sheets out of 30 games. Worst was O'Brien, 5 clean sheets out of 17 games. And even that's not too bad. Goals conceded. Let's have a look at this one as well actually. 59 goals conceded out of 49 games played. 26 in 30 for Quintana and 29 in 17 for O'Brien. That's worse. O'Brien let in lots of goals when he played. Quintana not so much. So even though O'Brien kept a lot of clean sheets, when he did concede, he conceded a lot. Do I do comparisons? Nah, I'm not going to do comparisons. Right, final thing. Fixtures. And then I think that'll be the end of this episode, guys. So, right back at the start of the season, we had 5 friendlies. We only won one of them, and that was away to Mansfield. Apart from that, we drew 2-2 with Pumas, with goals from Barnard and Delamond. We then lost 4-1 to Betis, Real Betis, with a goal from Stevens. We won 2-0 against Mansfield, of course, with goals from Francois and somebody else. Either Cartwright, Frederick or Thompson. The ball's hidden. Oh, it might be an own goal actually, the second one, thinking about it. We then played Verona. We lost 2-1 with another goal from Barnard. And then we lost 5-0 to Valencia. The season then started with a home game against Tamworth at our new home of White Hart Lane. I'm not going to go into that again, believe me. We then played Halifax and won 2-0. I probably should stop going through all of these because we'll be here for hours. We won our first... Well, from the second game of the season, we won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches in a row. We then lost 2-0 to Wrexham away from home. I can't read. We lost 4-2 to Wrexham away from home. We followed that up with a 2-2 draw against Aldershot, where I believe we were 2-0 down, I think, and then we came back to draw 2-2. We then beat Barnet 2-1 at home, with goals from Carino and Bobo. We then lost 5-4 to Forest Green, which that was an unlucky result really, because it was a pretty even game for most of it. Even the goals were pretty even, and then right at the end, Forest Green scored a winner. We did bounce back though. We beat Braintree 3-2, with 2 goals from Peter Wilson and a goal from Johnston. We also had McConnell sent off, so that was a bit disappointing, but apart from that we did okay. We then had our first ever televised league match. Obviously we had a Valencia friendly televised, but no one was expecting us to win that, so that doesn't really matter. We lost 2-0 to Hereford on live TV, which didn't go down too well. Both goals were scored in the last 10 minutes, if I remember rightly as well. But it's okay, because we bounced back with 2 wins in a row against Leamington and Gateshead. We then unfortunately lost 2-1 to Macclesfield, which was again a disappointing result. However, towards the business end of the season, just coming up to December and then January, we beat Grimsby and Brackley. And then our bubble got shattered again because we lost 2-1 to Kidderminster and surrendered top spot. That was also a disappointing match. I think we were 2-0 down and then Drewson scored near the end. We then followed that up with a 1-0 loss to Luton, which was also disappointing. However, the FA Trophy then started and we beat Lewes quite convincingly, even though the scoreline was only 2-0. That was with goals from Beckhold and Drusen. Then we hit a blip, and this is what nearly cost us the title. You know, we've lost games in the past. We lost 2 in a row here. That wasn't too bad. What followed next is what nearly blew it for us. We then had 4 consecutive draws against Chester, Woking, Halifax and Lincoln. However, the Lincoln match was in the FA Trophy. I think we were 2-0 down or we were 2-0 up. I can't remember which way round it was. We ended up with a 2-2 draw. We then lost in the replay to Lincoln at home, funnily enough. I think we were winning 1-0 with Beckhold, and then they scored 2 late goals and ended up winning it. And because of that, we then went into freefall and we lost 2-1 to Tamworth, which was a real shock. And we dropped down as far as 7th, I think it was, 7th or 8th. And that's when my job was also called into question, because the board was starting to think, hang on a minute, what's going on here? However, what the board didn't calculate was we actually had some games in hand, and then we had 6 consecutive wins against Wimbledon, Salisbury, Lincoln. Again, we got our revenge, 3-2 win. Boreham Wood, Plymouth and Aldershot. We completed the double over Plymouth, and we actually won 8-2 on aggregate, so that was quite impressive. These wins lifted us back up into first place. A 2-0 loss to Welling then made us drop back down to, I think it was 4th, before a 5-1 win against Barnet put us back in the top 3. Might have even taken us back to top. We then beat Wrexham 2-1 to cement our place back in the top 2. Again, might have been top, I'm not entirely sure. We then lost 2-1 to Forest Green. So whether we were in first place or not, we definitely weren't at this stage because Forest Green jumped above us. However, 3 consecutive wins against Braintree, Leamington and Hereford put us back in the promotion places and also top of the table. We then suffered another blip with a home draw against Macclesfield, also live on TV. So in total on TV we lost 2 games and drew 1. So that doesn't do our credentials that much good. We then lost 4-1 to Luton in another shock result of the season. A goal from Hogan, unfortunately cancelled out by an own goal from Cartwright. We then beat Gateshead 2-0. And at this point, we were, I think, 3 points behind Kidderminster, and our next match was against them. Sadly, we lost 4-0 to Kidderminster, and, you know, at this stage, it could have easily cost us the title, there and then, gone. We then had a home match against Grimsby, and this, I believe, is the day we actually won the league, because we were 1-0 down, we equalised. We were 2-1 down, we equalised. We then went 3-2 up and conceded an equaliser. We then went 5-3 up, and then we conceded a last-minute 4th goal, and it made the last few seconds of the match incredibly tense, but we pulled off a 5-4 victory. Goals from McConnor, 2 from Johnston and 2 from Thompson. Both of Thompson and Johnston's goals were spectacular, worthy of winning matches all by themselves. We followed that up with a 2-0 win at home to Woking. And again, we were right on Kidderminster's coattails. We drew level on points with Kidderminster after beating Brackley in our game in hand 4-0. And although it was away from home, and it was on a Tuesday night, I'm pretty sure we'd have packed out the away end. 3,409 fans they had. That must be more than their average home attendance. And because of that, we went into the final game of the season, away to Chester. If we won, and Kidderminster did anything but win, we would win the title. Kidderminster went 4-1 down to Grimsby, a team we'd beaten 5-4 a few weeks prior. We won 2-0 with goals from Beckhold and an own goal from Ryan Jackson, I believe it was. And that, guys, is what won us the league. In fact, if I go analysis, what's this all about? Oh, I don't want to see that. That's too much effort. But yeah, guys, that is what won us the league. Few more things to go through, I suppose. You can see wanted players. Via, Federic and Beckhold are all wanted by teams. At this stage now, we're going into the Football League. We'll be signing a few more players to keep our league position. We'll be actually meeting the board promise of signing a few high-profile players. It means we're going to have to loan out some of our lesser-used players. And maybe even getting rid of some of the players who we brought in during this last season. So, that will be for another day. That will be worried about at another time. Budget-wise, our team are potentially making a loss of £800,000 this season at the moment. That's not bad considering the signings we've made and the amount we've spent on wages. You can see we're spending 81.79k per week on wages out of a 100k per week budget. The average wage is only £886 per week though, so again, it's manageable. It's very manageable. A lot of the loss has gone on transfer fees and certain players' wages. So our highest earners, players like Delamond, who else? Stevens, I think, is a high earner. I think Chorley's on quite a large sum as well. But then that's understandable because they are maybe not so much Chorley, but the rest of the guys, they are our main players. And bringing in David Stevens is probably one of the best transfers I've ever done on Football Manager because he helped our defence last season. He really helped our defence this season. As I showed you just now, he did make 82 mistakes this season, but none of them cost us goals. So he's been a very, very solid player for us. And I'm looking forward to him lining up for us in League 2 as well. As I'm also looking forward to seeing the rest of our squad line up for us in League 2. You can see they're all off on their holidays now, but when they're back, we will be in League 2. And I very much hope you guys will be joining us. But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching. This is Season 2 coming to an end. Season 3 will be starting either tomorrow or the next week, depending on what day this finishes on. If this finishes on, let's say, a Tuesday, then the next episode will be next Monday when the new season starts. If this ends on a Sunday, then of course it'll be the next day. I haven't done the maths, I can't be bothered to work it out right now. But yeah, join us for Season 3. It will be just as action-packed as this season and the season before, if not more so, because Football League, new dynamics, new struggles and tortures and you know, little things like that, trying to stay in the Football League. And yes, time for the end of video spiel, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you have subscribed to my channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I will see you soon.